Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Perth Sevens, the hosts Australia taking on the defending Cape Town champions, the Blitzboks. Now, these two sides both have potential of going far in this competition. South Africa getting themselves a great win in their first contest. It was hard fought. They got there in the end with a Ronald Brown try near the end of the contest. And looking through at the starting lineup, Ronald Brown does not find himself in the starting seven, but instead will once again make his way off the bench. It is Kua Nokia, Donovan Don, Devald Human, David Brits, Zane Davids, Ricardo James Duarte, and also Impi Visa. Looking through at the Australian starting side, Henry Hutchinson, Ben Dowling, he is in the starting side too. Aiden Ikanayaki is there, Jaden Blake, also Michael Isley, Maurice Longbottom, and Jimmy the Jet Turner, or James Turner, as some people will know him. But this is quite an important matchup for this group. At the moment, we are seeing USA versus Argentina, and USA actually leading at this current point in time, 14 points to 12 with only 3 minutes remaining. So depending on how that game goes, theoretically, I would think Argentina will be at the top of the bunch. But of course, for that to happen, they do have to get the win there. But South Africa, they want to be sitting right up on top after a tough game up against the US in round number one. But I should mention this will be the second game for these two sides. Their third will be taking place tomorrow. Australia taking on the US and Argentina versus South Africa. Always an entertaining game. Those two sides have history and both looking in good form for the Perth Sevens. But do let me know, of course, your score predictions for this game, ladies and gentlemen. When we look through at the starting lineups, you see the likes of Kua Nokia. We know he's got pure pace. Zane Davids, he's playing his 50th tournament for the Blitzboks, so he's had quite the illustrious career. He's getting closer to those 50 tries for himself as well. But I do think that the benches, this is where we're going to see the real impact. In terms of this Blitzboks bench, they have got Selvin Davids. He was a game changer in the last contest. Ronald Brown, you could say the same about him, scoring the last minute try. Now they've got Shilton Van Wyk and Saviwe Soyuz-Wapi, so a lot of pace there between those two. Then for the Australians, they've got that experience of Josh Turner, Hayden Sargent. He had some great moments in the game up against Argentina, and Matthew Gonzalez there as well. Hello again, says Ria, and voted for the Blitzboks to win. Hope I'm right, says Bruce. Well, that's the thing. After their first game, the fact that it was a tough one up against the USA, but they still managed to get through and get the victory, it should help them in the right direction here. And you're just wondering whether or not they can put it together. They've got all the potential in the world, though. When we look through at this side, like I said, you got Zane Davids, you got Ricardo James Duarte, who had a slightly quieter game in the last contest, but still can bring that impact when he gets ball in hand. And we haven't actually seen too much of that classic Blitzboks kicking behind that we are used to seeing. So perhaps this will be the match, whether it's Shilton Van Wyk or Selvin Davids, one of those two sprinting through to be able to get the loose ball. But like I said, Argentina, if they win this game, they are currently leading. They will be sitting top of the table, but South Africa will have the opportunity to go right up there with them. And that last game will definitely determine quite a bit for Pool A. Let's go, my Blitzboks says LFG. I've already seen plenty of upsets throughout this competition. South Africa do come in as favourites, but I think the biggest of them all, Uruguay, managing to beat not just Fiji, but then to follow it up by beating New Zealand. It is a run that we are not used to seeing, but if they beat Kenya tomorrow, they will be sitting top of their group. So that would mean that they avoid some of these top contenders like South Africa, maybe Argentina. They won't have to play, well, they might have to play Fiji again, depending on who goes through as that lower qualified team. Good job, Los Teros. And you're on an absolute tear for this competition. Currently, Argentina versus USA is 30 seconds remaining, sitting 19 points to 14 in favour of Los Pumas. So they've got themselves back in the right direction here, although USA will have the last bit of ball in hand. What's your prediction for this game? I do think we're going to see a much cleaner performance from the South Africans than their first game. There was always going to be a little bit of rust for these sides, seeing as they haven't played for about 45 or so days in terms of a competition. So I think now that they've had that match under their belt, and it was a relatively tough one, but I do see them getting over the line here up against Australia. And I'm going to be honest. I think they'll beat Australia. I don't want to jinx them, which I probably will. I think they could beat them by 3 tries here. I just feel like Australia, even though they're at home, the Blitzboks side, when they find their rhythm, they are very hard to beat. And I feel like this is one of those games, an evening fixture. Maybe we're going to see a bit of handling be an issue, though, for both of the sides. I should mention at the moment we've got USA versus Argentina's final seconds. If the USA score and they don't convert, we actually keep going, and it will be golden point time for that contest. Now, this one is supposed to kick off pretty much in about 30 seconds, and USA are just about to break through. I know it sounds bad. Oh, they're going to score it. They might even win that game. They might win. If they get this kick over, USA will beat Argentina, which would be another massive upset for this competition. But if they miss, they go to golden point time, which means we have started extremely early for this matchup. So now we're in that situation. I hope USA can get the kick over. It is going to be a basic one, straight out in front of the post. All they have to do is boot this one through, and they will beat Argentina, which will then open the door for South Africa to be the top of the table at the end of today. Upset for Australia, says Andreas there. He's missed the kick. They're going to golden point, ladies and gentlemen. So I do apologise for the long amount of build-up for this match. It was not our intention. Of course, we did assume that matchup would have come to a close, but now they are going to be going to extra time. An upset for Australia, says Andres. So what is your score prediction? Andres, do let me know. But yeah, golden point between Argentina versus USA, and then this match between South Africa and Australia will get underway. But in looking towards the future for these two sides, of course, they do still have one more game. I mentioned about South Africa. They will be playing up against the Argentines. That game taking place tomorrow. I will get the exact time for you guys in South Africa, just because I do know the New Zealand time. But South African time, you are looking at, it will be 7:50 a.m. So an early one. Where you're watching this? So I am watching on Sky Sport now here in New Zealand. Sorry, Amish, we need to give some last moment spice for the crowd, says Mikhail. And 28 points to 12. Also, you're not just saying a slight upset. You're saying the Australians are going to dominate in this game and get a 16-point win. Winner street sprints in your town? No idea. I don't think they even do it anymore, to be honest. But, yeah, it will be a 7:50 a.m. kickoff for you guys in South Africa tomorrow for South Africa versus Argentina. And then for the other game that is taking place in this group, Australia versus USA, that will be taking place at 6:28 p.m. New Zealand time. So that it is a 7:28 a.m. kickoff in South Africa. Now, depending on whether or not I have cricket will depend on whether we do have those games being commentated on the channel. Now, I am hoping, well, in fact, I should be able to do every single quarterfinal. It's just those two matches are a little bit up in the air at the moment of whether or not they will be possible. But Pumas versus USA is about to start their golden point time. This is actually quite crucial for this group because depending on who wins these games will, of course, have a little bit more of a factor when it comes to the overall standings. When we have a quick look here, South Africa currently, even though they won Cape Town, they are sitting in 4th in the overall standings. Is this another all-nighter? It will not be, no. So after this game, of course, once the match does start, we've got a bit of a delay due to the extra time taking place before they get into it. But yeah, after this game, I will be heading to bed, and then I will be waking up early to go to cricket, which we are playing about an hour and 10 minutes away. So I've got a bit of a drive. Whereas Australia in the table, says Andreas. At the moment on the overall standings, Australia are sitting in 8th. So they've got 12 points in total from the 2 legs. And then their opposition in this one, South Africa, they are sitting in 4th. They've got 30 points, including the 20 for taking the gold in the last fixture. Joseph Suali and Joseph Martinu are needed for Australian Sevens. Says JD, 3 days till my birthday and my free burger, says Novmum. And we have got their next Friday is the start of the Six Nations. It certainly is. Now, I will be away for those ones. I'm at a cousin's wedding, but I have got to fill in for myself, so we will still have the live streams going, and more than likely I'll pop into the chat. I just won't be doing the commentary as we will be in a shared house with the rest of the family, so I don't think they'd like if I kept them all up the day before the wedding. Going off to the right-hand side here, Argentina still on attack up against the USA. For anyone just popping in now, Argentina versus US going to golden point time. And it's going to be a very important one for this overall group to see who gets the points at the end of that contest. It will be good this year, says William. Yeah, hopefully it goes right down to the wire, and that final round really does mean a lot in terms of what the outcome could be. Australia Sevens, says Joshua, in terms of his prediction for this match, I assume. USA, they have just won the penalty, which means this game will be going a little bit longer. Pretty much whoever scores first will win that game, but it is running extremely long for that matchup. There's also a bit of rain by the looks of it in Perth at the moment. It is, in fact, it's almost pouring down. So that will also affect the handling of this game. Oh, is that a knock on? He's dropped the ball onto his boot. He's regathered and he scored the try. So it's whether or not they consider that as a knock on or not. This is going to be an interesting one because he's dropped the ball onto his boot, kicks it up, controls it, and then places the ball. So that kind of looks like a try. But I think they're going to say it's a knock on. If you want to kick it, you need to be in control of the ball. See, I think he's a little bit hard done by there. Because, yes, he didn't have huge control of the ball, but he still did a chip to himself to regather it. Who scored, says LFG. Argentina almost did. This is probably going to be one of our longest intros to a Sevens live stream as well, I should mention, with this game going extra time. But anyone who is unaware, the starting lineup for this match between South Africa and Australia will be Q and Nokia, Donovan Don, Devold Human, David Brits, Zane Davids, Ricardo James Duarte, and also Impi Visa. Then for the Australians, Hutchinson, Ben Dowling, Aiden Kanayaki, Jaden Blake, Michael Isley, Maurice Longbottom, and also James Turner. Now, he is certainly one to watch out for the Australians. He's got a huge amount of pace. You don't want to upset the bride, says JD. Can you do a stream where you talk about politics? No, just because I don't know anything about politics. So it would be like me doing a stream on, let's say, netball, or doing a stream on some random venison. You know, I'd have no clue, so I don't think there would be much point. Plus, that is just asking to split an audience, because, of course, politics is one of those things, you're either on one side or the other. You're not often in between, so it would just be asking for trouble. I would say, tell you what, USA are going to score this try. Talapusi has just gone through, and he has managed to score the last-minute try for the USA. What's the score, says LFG? So that game has just ended. USA have got themselves the winning try, and now the South Africa versus Australia game is just around the corner from starting up. Yeah, being able to win that game for the USA is massive, and it now means that there are few groups in this group that have got one win under their belt, South Africa being one of them, but they've still got their game just around the corner up against Australia. So that would mean if Australia win this contest, then we would get to see all four sides with one win under their belt heading into the final matches. So that would be absolutely awesome to see it go down to the wire, to be honest, but I do see South Africa getting themselves the big win here. Hi, Hamish. Just home from golf. Thanks for the commentary, says Joss. No worries at all. Hopefully your golf did go well. You did shoot not too badly. Now there are high fives between Argentina and USA, which means that these two sides, South Africa and Australia, will now make their way onto the field. Like I said, probably our longest Sevens intro that we have had in an extremely long time. But that is just due to golden point. You never know what's going to happen in a game of sevens. No one could have predicted that USA were going to score late, let alone miss a kick from straight out in front of the posts, and then still manage to win it in golden point time. But a rainy night at HBF Park in Perth, Australia and South Africa now running their way out onto the field. And they will now be raring to go. And that's the thing, for these sides to be sitting there in the changing shed and pretty much in the tunnel just waiting to go out there on the park. They would have done their warm-ups. A lot of the players will possibly have a little bit of early, I guess, slowness. You know, you've got to get fired back up get back in a rhythm, but it looks like Australia are pretty fired up for this one. Being at home for these matches, being on the course in winter, temperatures mid-20s as opposed to summer when the temperature reaches the high 40s and low 50s. Says Joss. Sounds pleasant enough. I think for the wedding, I think it's on the golf course, but sadly the golf course that we're on, I think it's a relatively fancy one, but they don't have club hire. So we're going to be on a golf course for a wedding and we're not even going to be able to golf, which I just think is completely wrong. Maybe we'll have to sneak the putter into the suitcase so that I can test the greens. But Maurice Longbottom, ready to go for this match. Who's getting married? It is my cousin. The sister of the one who got married last year in the opening round of Super Rugby. Now, it's going to be kicked off. South Africa slapping that ball back, and they are in possession early on with David Brits. This match taking place around 9 minutes later than the kickoff was supposed to be. I'd put 250 on minus 2.5 South Africa. I hope this hits, says Slump. How much was it paying, out of curiosity, Slump? Because I know South Africa would have been favourites, or at least I assume they would have been in this match. I can't imagine it would have been paying huge money. Now Nokia gets it out wide. Still inside of their own 22 till Hutchinson makes the tackle. Zane Davids back across to Devald Human. It will be a slippery ball for a start. Ricardo James Duarte. Nice pass across to Zane Davids, showing off some speed. The big man in his 50th tournament, $450 US, says Slump. A little bit of a juggle from Devald Human. Now ball on the inside to Donovan Don. Been 10 years since I've been to a wedding, says Novmum. It's probably only been a year since I've been to one. It must be around that stage of everyone's life, how everyone's getting to that age, getting married. 1 minute gone in this one. David Brits goes across to Ricardo James Duarte, sells the dummy. He's got a man on his outside, but now goes inside to Nokia, gets round two. South Africa spending a lot of time running sideways, but it's finally opened up a bit of a gap. Passes out wide to Devald Human. Another great tackle made by Australia, who are not budging defensively at the moment. Now another run from Donovan Don. Bit of a counter-ruck coming from the Australians. Can't quite get it. Impivesa. Now short ball. Zane Davids tackled low by James Turner. And Australia almost got the turnover, but I think there was a hand on the ground from Maurice Longbottom. Okay, Maurice is yelling profanities at the moment. Come on the Blitzboks. Only did it because I saw that South Africa is very much likely to win. Says Slump. Now we have their politics doesn't exist from Bruce. Now getting ready to go for the scrum. South Africa in a great position on the field. The set piece, they have scored 37% of their tries. I went to a wedding almost every year from 2000 to 2014. Says Novmum. Very busy in that regard. 2.5 minutes remaining now. Ricardo James Duarte going to be feeding in this ball for the Blitzboks. They want to get that early try. Put themselves in a great position in this contest. Now going off to the right-hand side. It's a 2-on-1. Passes it out wide. And it will be the try for Donovan Don. Henry Hutchinson not happy about it. And a very nice try. This kick could be quite crucial. And we'll want to make sure that it goes over. We saw the importance of kicking in the last game between Australia and Argentina. One missed kick could cost you. Both of the sides almost found out. Have you ever stayed at the Camelot Motor Lodge in Christchurch? Don't think so. I think I have stayed at a motel in Christchurch, but I'm not sure which one. It was when we went to Australia many, many years ago. 5-0, says Slump there. Yeah, currently sitting 5-0. So the kick has missed. It was a friend's wedding 7 days ago. Groom and bride tied the knot in Toronto Family Church. And let's go to the Blitzboks, says Riley. 3.5 minutes remaining in the first half. South Africa now going up for that one, but it's going to be nicely claimed by Kanayaki. And that ball is loose. South Africa clean it up. Donovan Don. Oh, he had a passing option till Zane Davids slipped over. Now, kicked him behind from Devald Human. Now, during that really, really long intro that he's knocked it on. Devald Human's dropped the ball like 1 metre out. What I was about to say is something that we didn't see too much in that first game was that kick in behind. that the Blitzboks are really known for. We saw it this time from DeWald Human. I wasn't even looking. I thought he had scored this every day of the week. He had the ball. What happens? He just drops it. Cold. No one near him. And more Afrikaans for you. Bits as Afrikaans means lightning. For Blitz. And we have got their thoughts on Invercargill pack and save. Never been. Probably never will. I don't really plan on going to Invercargill anytime soon, so who knows if pack and save will even be there next time he heads south. Now, going to be fed in by Maurice Longbottom. Awkward scrum there for the Australians, but they do get themselves a penalty. Oh no, says JD. Yeah, that could be extremely costly in that case. And I still don't know how he put it down. Yes, it's slippery. I think he's just hit it on his hip on the way past, but that is a schoolboy error from DeWald Human in a match that you really cannot afford to be making those sort of mistakes. A line-out throw for the Australians. 2 minutes remaining in this first half, 5-0 down. The home side want to make a bit of an impact here. You can see that the scoreboard, it is yet to give South Africa that try. And I'm not too sure why. But 5-0 up at the moment for the Blitzboks. And a very nice tackle made on Jaden Blake. The penalty does go the way of the Australians yet again. Now good momentum. Heading forward towards the halfway line. Henry Hutchison calls for the ball. Wide cutout pass. Gets it to James Turner. One-on-one gets through. Nokia, and they will not catch Jimmy the Jet Turner. And he will score the try and make the score 5-5. What's your favourite brand of sports drink, Hamish? Says Matthew Lang. I mean, I haven't had a sports drink in a very, very long time. Like, the Powerade normally all right. But I used to love an E2. The orange one. And then I learnt the lime one was too nice. Or, the green apple one. That goes down like a treat, but it's like 70 grams of sugar. I thought this would be a no sweat. Says Slump. I'm shocked you aren't drinking a Powerade Zero right now, says Matthew Lang. Well, I probably haven't drunk one since the last live stream, like that we actually had one on it. Other than that, just decided not to have them. Water was just better. Now 30 seconds remaining. Sloppy bad mistakes by the Blitzboks. Yeah, exactly right. Just making those little errors in the breakdown could end up costing them a little bit. But Australia now leading this one by 2 points currently. On off to the left-hand side. Rush defence from Australia. Ricardo James Duarte breaking ankles as he always does. Bounce pass out to Zane Davids. He will move up to the 22-metre line. In fact, he almost breaks straight through. Henry Hutchison makes a very strong low tackle. Now wide cutout pass. Cross to Impivisa. Doesn't have a lot of room to work with, but he somehow manages to stay in the field of play. Maurice Longbottom wanted the counter ruck, but David Britt shuts him down. Rush defence from Australia yet again. Ricardo James Duarte trying to go straight through, in through the side for Australia. Could have been a penalty against Michael Isley. Offloading it to DeWald Human. Now inside ball to Impivisa. Chopped down. James Turner looks a little bit wobbly at the moment. That is a wobbly pass from South Africa. But they've still got the ball. Here comes Nokia. Kicks it in behind. Tackle well. Awkward ball and Maurice Longbottom. He possibly should consider just kicking this ball out, but he's going to have a run of it for the Australians. They feel they're in with a good shot of being able to score one more. Ben Dowling looks for the offload. It's loose and it goes into touch. Halftime score 7 points to 5. 8th player invisible while he lost his ball to score, says JD. Yeah, I mean, it's at the moment the difference between the two sides. South Africa could have had 12 points on the board rather than the 5. Is the South Africa second game today, and are there more today? So this is their second game. They will not be playing until tomorrow, which will be in the morning South African time. They're going head-to-head with Argentina. If it is raining tomorrow, my cricket will be cancelled and I will be able to cover that one. If not, the next game that we cover for South Africa will be their quarterfinal, which is happening midday. Late morning, midday-ish for South Africa. Ty Haas's match, says JD. And sloppy bad mistakes from the Blitz, says Eric. CJ Perenata scored any tries in this tournament. I didn't see the New Zealand game earlier, says Matthew Lang, which is very obvious. And I'm cooked if the game is halfway done. Not necessarily, because all they need is one more try. But yeah, 2.5 puts you in an awkward position because you kind of, 2.5 means that they can't miss a conversion, which they have, if that makes sense. So like if Australia, let's say, got another try and South Africa got a converted try, then they'd only be down by 2. Or if they were to, let's say, get another couple tries, they might find themselves only winning by 2, which doesn't actually benefit you that much. What position you play in cricket, says EJ. A little bit of everything at the moment. Like, I'm more of a batter than a bowler, but I've recently switched from spin to pace, and that's going a lot better, so I might even get a bowl tomorrow. But, yeah, we'll see. I have Australia to win 14-10 on the betting market, says Andreas. Come on the Blitzboks, you can do this, says LFG. And there in fast pace, says JD. Yeah, it's been a very quick first half between these two sides. A few people looking a little bit wet at the moment in the stands due to the rain that has been falling all throughout this first half. See whether or not the Blitzboks can get back into it. They are down by 2. And like I said, if Australia win this game, we then see all 4 teams on 4 points. We'll see it there. If Australia somehow got themselves a 3-pointer, which I can't see happening, all the teams would actually be on exactly 0 heading into their last round as well. Pretty much, if Australia win this, the last round for this group is winner stays on. And South Africa versus Argentina is one of the matches that has taken place. James Turner taking it nicely. Selvin Davids has made his way onto the field. Same with Ronald Brown, who already goes for a bit of a counter ruck. Maurice Lombard sending it across to the right-hand side. Bit of Eye of the Tiger playing. At the moment, that looked a bit high from Zane Davids. Now the pick and go, and there will be the penalty for offside. The DJ's really been just cranking the music all throughout the games. It's as if he's just decided he's not going to turn it off with how quick pace Sevens is. He's gone, might as well just keep the DJ pumping all throughout the night. Should mention in Perth, it's only sitting around 8:15 in the evening. Actually, not too late compared to some of the games we've seen recently. Why isn't Caleb Clark playing? I thought he made the move to Sevens. He did for about one tournament back at the Olympics. Got himself a medal, but never played a minute for the New Zealand Sevens. Now Maurice Longbottom. Nicely thrown in for the Australians, who has position at the moment, Australia. They were on the halfway line, but now they've lost about 10 metres. James Turner facing backwards. Beautiful step around. He is such a hard man to drag down when he gets a bit of space. Maurice Longbottom going way across to the right-hand side. Henry Patterson now. In fact, no, sorry, it's going to be Henry Hutchinson. 2-man tackle on him. 40 metres out from the line. Isley with the pick and go. Selvin Davids so close to getting that ball back. And Zane Davids very slow to get back to his feet. Now, going back on the inside. Big shot on Blake by Ronald Brown. Dowling again. Passes across to Maurice Longbottom. He likes the look of the short side, but he'll offload it to James Turner. Referee almost getting in the way there. But off to the right-hand side. Dowling. Goes again to the big man. Kanayaki. Tackle made. Selvin Davids trying to get that ball. It's popped out the side. This is good phase play at the moment for Australia. Definitely in wet conditions. Now Maurice Longbottom gets the speed going. Little bit of a slip for Australia. Was there a knock on? The ref says yes, there was. Other markets say that South Africa will win 100%. Is that Vegas trying to trick bet makers? Not necessarily. We saw the biggest upset in Sevens history, or at least what some people have regarded as that in the group stage earlier on in this competition. Uruguay bet Fiji, who have got more gold medals at the Olympics than any other side. They also bet New Zealand, who are one of the most decorated sides in Sevens history. Sevens is a game that is made for, of course, champions, but it's made for upsets too, which is why the biggest advice that we give people is don't bet on Sevens unless you like losing money, because every once in a while, the favourites aren't going to come in. And sometimes it can be every favourite loses. We've seen that in a quarter-final before. Every single side that we're expected to win lost. And then it was wide open in the playoffs. I think it was Spain versus Great Britain, which no one had predicted. Going off to the left-hand side now. And it's going to be the ball in hand for the South Africans. Shilton Van Wyk dragged down in a hard tackle. Henry Hutchinson rushing up a little bit quickly, but he wants to shut down Selvin Davids as early as possible here. Ryan Oosterhuizen going off to the left-hand side. Now Ronald Brown, can he make his way through? Passes, but it's gone behind everyone. Visa has to clean it up, and Hutchinson manages to make the tackle on him. Both of these sides have actually done extremely well with holding on to the ball. I feel like it's definitely something that could play a factor as we reach the later stages. Who can get more phases in their hands? David Britz offload to Selvin Davids. It was an absolutely awful one, and it's going to go straight to Australia. Now what the heck is Blitzboks doing? Says Rhea there. Wide cutout pass. No, it's a misstep. And now James Turner manages to pick that ball up, looking to the short side. Can't quite get through. South Africa trying to get in there. Dowling going back across. It's a risky pass. Quick hands. Loose ball picked up by South Africa. And David Britz scored the try. The next team to score will win, says Bruce. An amazing work, brother, says Slump there. Hello, bro. Joined from Fiji, says Anaket. Welcome and hope you are doing extremely well. Next try win. I love the risk, says Slump. You sound like you've got a problem, like in terms of the gambling side of things, but I will give you the same advice we've given many people. Only bet what you're willing to lose. Because, like I said, sevens can be one of those games that can be so nice to you, and then all of a sudden, you're moving out of your house because you can't afford it anymore. Let's go. The Blitzboks says LFG, and wow, all the players so tired out there. That kick has missed away to the side, which means only 3 points difference between these two teams with 2.5 minutes remaining on the clock. It's like Brits looked like he was ready to throw up on the sideline. And Fiji to qualify for the quarters tomorrow. Yeah, I hope they do as well. They've had a bit of a rough run. Our thoughts on the Western Force chances to win this year? Probably not the highest that they've ever been. The good news is there's one less team now, though. Oh, rush defence on the Australians. That's actually playing the ball on the ground. Should have been a penalty to the Blitzboks. And what missed the kick? Yeah, it was straight out in front of the post. Australia are inside of their own in-goal area at the moment. They are playing a very risky game. Now Matthew Gonzalez goes back across here. This is going to be a tricky one for the Australians. They almost need a penalty to help them move forward. As Labok kicking for South Africa, now looking for the wide cutout pass. In fact, they're going to hang on to it again. Pressure play here. Matthew Gonzalez gets a pass on the outside, starting to open up a Hayden Sargent, who almost managed to leapfrog his way through. Matthew Gonzalez goes to the short side again, and there's a penalty going the way of Australia. Still 90 seconds remaining on the clock. And once again, it is anyone's game. And does sevens mean sevens player? Yeah, correct. 7 players per team. Also, I mean 7 points for a converted try, but it is more based off the amount of players on the field. Oh no, says JD. That one hasn't found touch, though, for the Australians, and that might just be the moment that South Africa needed to win this game. Going for the kick in behind again. Chance here to grab this one. Nicely taken by Hayden Sargent. Impivisa trying to get that turnover, but he cannot. Now James Turner, Australia are going to have to go the length of the field if they want to win this game. James Turner looking to the short side. Offloads on the inside to Henry Hutchinson, who hangs on to it. Impivisa, is he on the ball? I don't think he had it, but the ref gives him the penalty. Tell you what, that was close. I think Impivisa actually missed his first initial chance at it. They managed to get just enough hands close enough to the ball. We're going to see the replay here. Might look better. You know, he didn't have much of that ball, I don't think. Maybe one hand brushed it. And that is when the ref gave the penalty for not releasing. And now South Africa with 20 seconds remaining in a great position. Even South Africa, great odds. Says Stephen Pope, the best rugby bet is to pick the 3 most likely teams to win each weekend and bet on all 3 or even 4 to simply win. Don't get greedy, says Robert. Did Australia win their first game? They did not. No. So they would be 0 from 2 at home if they weren't to win this game. South Africa, this would pretty much book their spot through to the next stage. Any apps, any free apps, to watch sports? YouTube sometimes have certain matches. They don't have these contests, unfortunately. Oh, kicked in a touch by Selvin Davids, and that will be the end of the game, winning it by 3. South Africa, 10 points to 7, an extremely close game between these two sides. But yet again, Australia on the wrong side of Hey, Victor and my girlfriend will be super psyched. I can take her to dinner tonight. Love you guys. Says Slump. And tough match. Good win, says Eric. And let's go to the Blitzboks. Says LFG. And there as well. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. Like I said, there is still one more game for these two sides that has taken place tomorrow. Australia will be taking on the USA and South Africa will be taking on Argentina. If we are rained off for cricket, I will be doing the commentary for those ones. If not, we will be picking it up from the quarterfinals, which are going to be taking place in the later stages of the day. We will quickly get the time. Thanks so much, says Russell Dold. So yeah, the matches that will be taking place for the quarterfinals. First quarterfinal kicks off at, it will be 11:27 a.m. South African time or 10:26 p.m. for us here in New Zealand. The last quarterfinal is taking place at 12:41 p.m. South African time or 11:41 p.m. for us here in New Zealand. Wish I kept under 36.5, says Slump. But yeah, you don't want to get greedy with sevens. I'll tell you that right now. Or else, if you had lost, your girlfriend was going to be paying for dinner. And she wouldn't have been very happy, I wouldn't have thought. And Nokia so fast, he must work on his defense, says Eric. And let's go, says Vadsy. And thanks so much, says Russell. And there as well. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. I should also mention we've got the URC taking place tomorrow. It will be the Lions versus the Bulls in a South African derby. And then also the Stormers. They are taking on Leinster at the Aviva. So it's going to be a tough game for them, but I'm sure they will be looking forward to it. But thank you all very much for being here. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I will see you all for the next one.